Hi, I'm Louise McNamara. I'm a research officer with Teagasc at Oak Park Crop Research Centre in Carlow, and I work with crop pest control entomology. So I'm going to go through some of our work on barley yellow dwarf virus control. So it's a virus spread by aphids. So we're going to look at control recommendations, some updates on our winter trials, and some updates on our work on knockdown resistance. So first of all, the risk factors associated with barley yellow dwarf virus in cereals is early sown autumn crops and late sown spring crops are most at risk of BYDV. Mild winters and mild autumns increase this risk by increasing the chances of aphids overwintering and increasing the period of aphid migration. So for autumn cereals, early sown cereals are at highest risk, and you need a seed treatment and a pyrethroid application in November, or 2 pyrethroid applications at the 2 to 3 leaf stage and then again in the first week in November. For October sown cereals, the risk is medium to high, and you need a seed treatment or an aphicide in the first week of November. For crops emerging after November, the risk is lower, so control is generally not needed unless it's a mild winter where aphids are plentiful, or you're in a high risk area such as coastal areas where the weather is milder. For spring cereals, March sown crops are generally at a lower risk, so the aphicide spray may not be necessary, and for April sown crops, the risk is medium to high, so an aphicide is needed at the 4 leaf stage of the crop. So if we move on to our winter barley trials in Cork and in Carlow, we've drawn pictures of what these trials look like. So this is your Cork trial here, and it's near the coast in Cork, so it's where you'd have mild winters. So what you can see very strikingly is these yellow patches, so that's BYDV symptoms in the crop. So we're going to talk about a couple of treatments. So the red boxes are untreated, yellow are pyrethroid insecticide spray at the 2 to 3 leaf stage, and blue is seed treatments. So in our untreated plots, we have 39% of the tillers on average infected with BYDV. For the single spray of pyrethroid, 11% of the tillers are showing symptoms. And for the seed treatment on its own, only 3% of the tillers are showing treatments. If we move on to our Carlow trial, it's quite different. With the untreated plots, only 4% of tillers showing treatments, and that drops to 2% where you have a single pyrethroid spray at the 2 to 3 leaf stage or your seed treatment on its own. So what's strikingly different is the pressure for virus in different areas and how that needs to be borne in mind when it comes to developing pest control programs. Then we move on to an update on our work on knockdown resistance. So knockdown resistance, or KDR, was first identified in the UK in 2012 and in Ireland in 2013. And it refers to partial resistance to pyrethroids. So to date, the gene for knockdown resistance has only been identified in the grain aphid, which is the most prevalent aphid in Irish cereals, and it's an important vector of barley yellow dwarf virus. A single clone is associated with pyrethroid resistance. Our research indicates that aphids carrying the resistance gene occurs in all major tillage grown regions. But what's important to remember is within the field, there'll be a number of different aphid species present, and within those species, only a certain proportion is the grain aphid, and only a certain proportion of those are a clone that may be carrying the resistance gene. Currently, we don't know how the prevalence of the resistance gene in the aphids contributes to how successful control is. That's what we're working on right now. Take-home message is the importance of sowing date, as outlined here. That's your first step in your control program in protecting your crop from virus, is planting at a time that reduces the risk, and then well-timed insecticides where needed is also important.